Welcome back to AKFX. On this episode, we're going to do a quick market recap. We're going to look at last week's trading, primarily on the EURUSD pair. Last week was Monday, the 30th of January through Friday, the 3rd of February, being the first week of the month of February. Friday was NFP. Now, I generally try not to trade NFP. I did end up trading NFP with a demo account with pretty positive results. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, we are looking at EURUSD 30-minute chart from Monday, the 30th of January through Sunday or Friday the 3rd. Taking a quick look at the idea I had put out on Sunday, the 30th, or Sunday, the 29th. The first thing that caught my mind looking at the previous week, which is now 2 weeks ago, was that price had been trading in this tight range. My primary hypothesis was that price would want to violate both ends of this range. That is to say, take out the low and then the high before any significant move is made. That's because all this represents liquidity. There are traders that have entered positions at every single price point along this that will be kicked out of their positions before the market makers actually take price to where they want to achieve their objectives. Over here, I have a news outlook that I can refer back to just to remind me of the dates and times where I'd be expecting significant news. This was NFP week, first week of the month. And so generally, I was expecting some sort of expansion move Friday. Based on my higher time frame analysis, I expected that price would want to chase this 2023 open. And again, like I had said, before price got there, I wanted to see both ends of this range taken. Hitting the play button to see how price reacted to this outlook. As you can see, price traded early into this week, into this daily or into this order block area, respected it, moved away from it, took out these lows, moved to take out these highs, reversed, and then fell for all these lower targets. So just to talk a little bit about the way I use outlooks, some authors on here post outlooks with, entries and exits and take profits. I don't necessarily trade my outlooks. What my outlooks are a reference point from which I interpret the rest of price action during the week. So I sit down on the weekends, I come up with an outlook by tracking liquidity. I look for what the market is likely to want to do, and then I see if the market is doing that and try to justify a trade during my kill zone hours, which for me are specifically New York session. And I look for trades within those sessions using my outlook kind of like a guideline or a map for what price might be trying to accomplish. So I actually did do quite a bit of trading on EURUSD this week. Just some of what I had said. NFP is on Friday. I would like to see price melt, but it can do a number of things between now and Friday. So on the 31st, which was Tuesday, I was looking to buy EURUSD. I'd enter a long here, or I believe 2 longs. I think I ended up doubling up here. I wanted to see price trade above this London high that was set on Monday, as well as into those higher time frame inefficiencies. Now, I thought that when we took this and traded above this level, we would expand quickly. That is not what ended up happening. I still continue to think that and bought in here. I gave this more room and ended up closing out all 3 of these positions for a small profit, when price didn't react the way I was looking for. On the 31st, which I believe was Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, the 31st is Tuesday. Tuesday, Asian session, which from my perspective is the trading day on Wednesday. So here, price had traded through and above the weekly open. This represents a bullish breaker. It had traded into this breaker during Asian session and was at the time where Asian session was likely to start putting in a low. And so I thought, okay, this is actually the move to take us much higher. As you can see, that did play out in my favor and actually ran for a bit. Now, I had wanted to initially take profit here. However, as I woke up on New York session, I didn't want to risk price. I didn't want to risk being wrong and losing the profit that I had already made. And profit that you have right now is always going to be better than theoretical profit. So I closed out of this position so that I could approach the market with a clear mind, having already booked significant profit for the week. As you can see, price continued to appreciate during New York. There was nothing during New York session here that really made me want to participate. And so I don't believe I tried to short it. I'd seen it run up during Asia and London. I thought there was a chance New York would want to clear some liquidity before finally continuing up. I saw all these relative equal lows, and I believe the market would want to clear that. I will go into a little bit more detail on what my entry criteria is, but for now, we're just going to do a basic outlook. A basic recap. So I saw reasons to short over here. So I entered short. Price began to go in my favor. And I'd wanted to take first profits around these double bottoms or these relative equal lows here. Price traded just about to them and actually did not give me a chance to take profit where I wanted to. My stop loss was at break even. And I actually ended up getting stopped out right here for a small profit. I saw price return. I expected my take profit to be hit and moved my stop loss just above this high. And then I did not participate for the rest of that day. That would have been so this was me attempting to short it. This is me getting stopped out at break even. And as you can see, the news at the end of the day, the Fed press conference shot price up. I had no interest in participating in that. But as you can see, had I not closed out of my original positions here, they could have run up. But you can't get caught up in that. You really can't say, oh, this position I entered, if I had let it run, it would have been 1 to 23, right? But, the position that you exited for profit, if you'd let that run, a lot of times that would have gotten stopped out. So you can't allow confirmation bias of things that go in your favor cloud your judgment, or things that could have gone in your favor significantly cloud your judgment. Just going back to the original outlook here. So I got stopped out on my short. This is a new day. This is the 2nd of February. New month just started. That was Thursday. I'd seen price run up here. I'd attempted to short it here and got stopped out break even as I had mentioned. So I run up during New York, and I saw Asia and London unwilling to put in a new high above New York. Now, there was always a risk that news could have put in a new high before finally turning. However, because I was bearish overall and I had seen higher time frame inefficiencies be filled, this this move up leaving an imbalance on the other side, I thought it was likely that price would want to finally come for these relative equal lows that I was originally targeting on the other day. So I entered a short there. I reduced my risk as price went in my favor. I believe I added to this position. So this was me theorizing that price had a lot more further bearish targets, targeting the 2023 open per my original analysis. And this is me saying, I think EU is bearish in short term for a while. However, I am not a swing trader, so I won't be holding. This is me telling myself, yes, your analysis says it's going all the way there, but that's not how you trade. Your trade is separate from your analysis. Therefore, take your profit and observe how price reacts to your analysis. So within my original idea, my original take profit, I was looking for reasons to add positions within this general idea. This is me theorizing how price might want to tap me in for an additional position. It's essentially the same concept as a weekly outlook, just looking for how price would want to deliver with respect to structure, with respect to liquidity, and ways that I can participate. Now, I saw price break this low. I saw it leave these inefficiencies. I saw order blocks up here that are likely to stop price, as well as open targets down below. As I filled this 15-minute fair value gap, I entered another position and I reduced risk on my first. Price continues to go my way. I continue to reduce my risk. Now, this is me recognizing that there are tons of traders with stop losses here that they're going to be forced to cover. These guys are going to be praying for a reversal. I was calling out this breaker block because it is possible. However, my bias is that these people will be forced to cover. And so that's where I plan to take my first take profit. This was me looking at DXY. I look at the DXY just to get a better understanding. Over here, I saw that price had traded below this daily open. Very little trading above it. Has traded into what is a, I believe, higher time frame fair value gap. And so I expect price to want to trade above what I consider a buy side inefficiency. This was not a real position. This was me just looking for practice for additional ways to take advantage of the price delivery. As you can see, price ran here into my first take profit. I generally take profit in an 80-20 fashion, 80% at one TP, 20% at the other. Very simple, 2 take profits, occasionally 3 if I'm looking for a much larger risk to reward. But I like to take most of my profit off the table when I can. And here I decided to actually close the entire trade at my first TP because I thought there was a chance price would want to reverse. I actually began to immediately look for long opportunities. So you can see I was tapped in here. Now this trade ended up not playing out too great. I should have taken profit a little more conservatively, knowing that I was trading against my original bias. However, I chose to, this is not a real ad, this was a theoretical ad, but I did choose to add to my position here. Afterwards, things got a little messy. It went my way a little bit and then began to play around towards lunchtime. And yeah, it really just got a little messy. I ended up closing my first position and then taking somewhat of a loss on the rest of these. So I think that I denoted where break even was for all the trades. And then I ended up taking a loss on these at this stop loss right here. So just short of break even. Now NFP Friday. I did want to trade this. I didn't want to risk losing the profits I'd already booked for the week, so I was going to demo trade it. Now, I already thought price was going to melt. However, I didn't want to enter trades before this move because if you're on the wrong side of this, that is your entire account sometimes. So I waited for this. price traded below what was a very high confluence area for me, the monthly open, the weekly open, and the previous week open. It just slashed through it. And so I wanted to see price retrade to that area and then continue to chase sell side, which one of which is this double bottom here. Very easy target. So you can see price began to trade back into it. It began to break down and I was short. And then 10 o'clock news hit and price just gapped. Now, see, again, if you're on the wrong side of this gap, you know, you could take 3 times, 4 times, 5 times the loss that you'd originally bargained for. Even though this is a candle, there's actually no trading. You know, when you look at something like this, there's trading on all these levels, right? When you see something like this, I know you see a candle, but really what you should see in your mind is price being here in 1 second and then the next second being here. That is a gap. There's no trading within this candle. Anyway, I thought this was just going to continue to melt. Price actually ended up returning and taking me out break even, which, you know, this was already like a 1 to 4. However, I still have pretty high faith in this idea. And so as it took out these highs, I shorted it again. Price continued to go to my favor. I added to my position once it traded below here. It did continue trading above, but continued to go in my direction. And I began to reduce my risk as I do. Here's me theorizing that all the longs chasing this bullish action, thinking that NFP was just going to somehow reverse for some reason. Yeah, they're going to be forced to cover their position, which is good news for my shorts. I did add another position right here. Again, I will go into a little more detail on what my criteria for these are. But as you can see, price continued to go my way. Now there was a 30-minute fair value gap that was actually above my entry. So I ended up moving this stop loss to give it a little more room to breathe. Price came back and touched that with my stop loss just above the last candle. Moved it back to break even once price rejected from that. As you can see, my first take profit was hit here, right at the sell side target. Now I closed way more than 80% of this out. And as the day continued to trade, my second take profit was hit here. And this is actually where the trading terminated for the day. So there really wasn't much else in last week. Switching gears to the DXY, that's the dollar index. Essentially, the dollar index measures the strength of the dollar relative to the other pairs it trades against. And so I like to watch both the DXY as well as the euro, because if I'm seeing strength in one, I should be seeing strength in the other. And if I'm not getting that story, if I'm not getting that inverse relationship, it probably means that I should stay out until I get a little more clarity. So real quick, just going to the idea I had posted for DXY. Sorry, that is this week's idea. Last week's idea actually got hidden because I talked about my YouTube channel. So I won't be doing that again. However, as you can see, this was published on the 29th of January. I was looking for price to take buy side here, fall, trade into here, and then rocket away. So you can see that's pretty much what happened. It didn't take this second level of buy side, but it did take this one. And then it ran for sell side, and then traded into this monthly fair value gap, and then it rocketed away. Now, I actually had this wrong. This is supposed to denote a week, so this should be on Friday. So this should actually be way back here. I don't know, for some reason I had this line drawn out here, but it really should be here. And this was my expectation for 1 week. Switching gears back to EURUSD for a second. I continue, this is my outlook for this week, 2.5. I want to see this continue to depreciate. I want to see it hit this 2023 open, at which point short-term longs may be possible. Some trading has already happened. As you can see, prices looking like it wants to hit that area. Now, I had originally thought it would want to trade up before doing that. It's not what happened. So now my immediate bias is actually longs once it gets below here, looking for at least this level and potentially these levels up here.